Hi, first graders. Let's talk about fractions. Ooh, what is a fraction? Fraction is just a very simple thing. And I'm going to show you. So I'm going to draw a shape. I'll draw a flat shape. And a fraction is a part of something. So if I'm going to draw a circle right here. Oh, look, that orange doesn't want to show up very well. And I wanted to give you a fraction of it. I would give you a part of my circle. So I could give you half of my circle, and if I gave you half of my circle, I'd say this one's for you. That's half. And the way that we draw it is the top number is called the numerator, and that's your part. I'm giving you one part out of my two parts. So I split that circle into two parts, and this number, the math word for that is denominator. So I have two parts, the denominator goes on the bottom, and I'm giving you one part. So that's why I colored in that one just for you. Let me erase this. We could do this with other shapes too. For example, I could give you some of a square. Okay. So let's say I wanted to make this square into 4 parts this time. So I'm going to write the number 4. What's that special math word again? That's right, denominator on the bottom. So the numerator will go on the top. And I have to decide how many pieces I want to give you. So let's first divide this into 4 parts. Now the tricky thing sometimes about fractions is you have to check if the parts are equal. It wouldn't be fair if they weren't equal. So in order for a fraction to work, we have to share the parts equally. Okay, so I'm going to do my very best and divide this square into 4 equal parts. That looks like about equal. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and look, it matches the number on the bottom of my fraction, the denominator. So now I'm going to give you some. I think I'm going to give you 3 parts of my square. So I'm going to color in 1, 2, 3 parts of my square, and those are the parts I'll give to you. So I put what number goes on the top? The numerator. You got it, 3, because I'm giving you 3 parts of my square. So let me ask you a question. If I was dividing a rectangle, and I decided to divide it like this, would that work, boys and girls? Are those pieces equal? They're not. That rectangle is not divided equally, so it can't be a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix that, and I'll divide this equally. I'm going to divide it first in half. Now those 2 parts are about the same, and I could make a fraction. This would be called halves. And we have 2 parts. And I could choose 1 to give away, 1/2. Or I could divide it into other segments too. I could divide it into 4 parts that are equal. And I would have to change this too though, wouldn't I? Because now we have more parts on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'll start with 1. I'm giving you 1, or I'm shading in 1, so that's 1 out of the 4 parts that are shaded. I could also divide this into thirds. So I just did fourths or quarters. Now I'm going to do thirds. Okay, my rectangle is looking a little bit shabby all of a sudden. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to divide it into thirds. okay? Who can tell me what number goes on the bottom of the fraction, the denominator? Who knows? If you said 1, 2, 3, you're absolutely correct. Now, depending on how many I shaded would tell me the amount that I'm giving away. So this is the whole right here, and these are the parts which we put on the bottom. And then if I choose a couple of the parts, that would go on top, the numerator. Now, what would happen if I colored in all 3 parts? Did I color the whole shape? Did I color all of the parts? I did. So I could do that. And it still works. It's showing me that I am coloring 3 out of all 3 parts, or I colored the whole thing. So this is called a whole. See that? There's lots of ways to divide shapes. We can divide shapes into 7 parts, 12 parts, 100 parts. As long as they're equally divided, you can divide a shape into as many parts as you want. In your packet for this time, you'll see a few fraction activities for you to do. And refer back to this video if you need to re-watch it to help you understand fractions. See you soon!